What if I told you that a signed decision, yes, an official one, could soon put up to $6,000 in your pocket as early as June 3rd? It might sound too good to be true, especially after years of waiting, hearing promises, and watching endless news cycles filled with maybes. But this time, something real has landed on the desk of the former president. And yes, reports confirm, Donald Trump has given the green light to a proposal that could result in one-time bonus checks going out to eligible Americans, particularly those receiving Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's be clear, this isn't just political noise. The buzz is coming from inside Washington itself, and there are legitimate Treasury Department sources indicating that discussions have matured into action. The goal? A targeted economic relief effort, specifically for those hit hardest by inflation, medical expenses, and fixed income limitations. We're not talking about another vague stimulus round for the general public. This bonus is aimed at seniors, disabled individuals, veterans, and survivors who rely on SSA programs to stay afloat. And it's not months away. It's reportedly tied to a June 3rd authorization window, meaning timing is absolutely critical. If you've been struggling to pay for groceries, housing, prescriptions, or even just to keep the lights on, this could be the relief you've been waiting for. And it's not alone, not a gimmick. It's your money, finally being returned to you. Stick with me for just a few minutes, and I'll walk you through who qualifies, how it works, and what you need to do right now to make sure you don't miss out. So before you scroll away, hit the like button if you want more real-time updates like this, and let's dive in. So let's break this down in real-world terms. Right now, we're standing at a moment where talk is finally turning into action. For years, millions of Americans, especially those living on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, have been told to be patient. They've been reassured that help is coming. But every time the media throws around words like stimulus or relief, people wait. And wait, and then nothing shows up in their bank account. That's the cycle we've seen over and over since 2020. But this time, with the latest reports coming from multiple sources close to the matter, we may finally be looking at something very different. This isn't about political theater anymore. It's about numbers on a page turning into real dollars for real people. The proposed $6,000 bonus checks that are gaining traction right now are not your standard tax rebate or some theoretical credit you may or may not get during next year's refund. These are designed as direct disbursements to eligible recipients, much like the stimulus checks we saw during the peak of the pandemic, but with one massive difference. This time, it's targeted. It's not being sent to everyone across the board. It's going specifically to those who have been most vulnerable, most impacted, and most ignored. Let's be honest, cost of living has gotten out of control. Groceries that used to cost $80 now cost $140. Medications that were covered last year are suddenly out of pocket. Rent is skyrocketing, utilities are climbing, and a basic trip to the gas station feels like a luxury. And here's the thing, seniors on fixed incomes don't have the option to just pick up a side hustle or work an extra shift. When you rely on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, every dollar matters. There's no buffer, no safety net. Just a hope that your payment will cover another month. Now, according to these early reports, the framework for the bonus checks was crafted as part of a broader recovery proposal that Trump advisors have been pushing behind the scenes. What makes this different is the nature of the payout. It's not tied to employment history, it's not a tax deferment, and it doesn't require you to fill out a complicated form or reapply through endless paperwork. The idea here is to streamline the process. If you're already receiving benefits through SSA, SSI, SSDI, or as a veteran, your eligibility could be verified automatically. That means these bonus checks could simply show up in the same account where your monthly benefit is deposited. Of course, as with any major policy move, there are conditions. And while details are still coming out, here's what we know so far. The earliest possible distribution date being floated around is June 3rd. And that's why the timing is critical. Treasury insiders have hinted that once the authorization is finalized, things could move quickly. The Biden administration, despite being on the other side of the political aisle, would still need to manage the logistics of distribution, so even though the proposal may be branded with Trump's approval, it would be administered by existing agencies. That's important because it means these checks wouldn't come through some private company or third-party vendor. They'd arrive through the same system used to distribute your benefits now. Now, it's completely fair to feel skeptical. After all, how many times have we heard about bills being approved or introduced, only to have them stall in Congress or disappear behind closed doors? But what makes this situation different is the level of bipartisan interest. Whether you're red, blue, or somewhere in between, everyone agrees that America's most vulnerable citizens are being crushed by inflation and economic instability. And let's face it, election season is heating up. Politicians know that public opinion is shifting, and seniors represent a powerful voting bloc. Providing meaningful, fast relief now could make or break reputations. What's also encouraging is that this plan is not being marketed as a bailout. It's being presented as a bonus recovery package, a way to rebalance the economy by putting money directly into the hands of those who will spend it wisely. Seniors don't splurge. They spend on essentials, housing, food, healthcare, transportation. And economists agree, when money flows through those channels, it strengthens communities from the ground up. In short, these $6,000 checks aren't just charity. They're an investment in America's aging population, a population that has paid into the system for decades and deserves more than empty words. Now, if you're wondering whether you personally qualify, here's what you need to watch for. While official eligibility guidelines haven't been released in full, the general expectation is that anyone currently receiving federal benefits, whether it's Social Security retirement, Supplemental Security Income, Social Security Disability Insurance, or VA disability or survivor payments, will likely be included. There may be income thresholds, or possibly exclusions for those receiving large pensions or private support, but the majority of fixed income recipients should be covered. That said, nothing is finalized until it's signed, sealed, and deposited. So what can you do in the meantime? Stay informed. Keep checking your benefit portal, watch for alerts from the SSA and VA websites, and be cautious of scams. Anytime news like this breaks, unfortunately, criminals see an opportunity. So remember, no government agency will ever call, email, or text you asking for your banking details to release a payment. If you're already receiving direct deposit, you don't need to do anything to claim a check. We also recommend tuning into verified news sources and official announcements. And yes, that includes channels like this one, where we don't rely on rumors or clickbait. We wait for facts, and when they drop, we break them down for you in plain English. That's why staying subscribed is more important now than ever before. Because if this bonus check gets finalized and you miss out simply because you didn't hear in time, that's a loss no one deserves. So, let's say best case scenario plays out. Authorization is granted, payment systems are prepped, and direct deposits begin landing in bank accounts by mid-June. What happens then? Well, if you're like most seniors, you already know where every penny is going, whether it's catching up on rent, paying off medical bills, stocking up on groceries, or finally replacing that worn-out appliance that's been hanging by a thread. That $6,000 won't make anyone rich, but it could offer a crucial cushion, a little peace of mind, and a way to breathe easier for at least a few months. And honestly, that's what this is about. It's not about politics. It's not about headlines. It's about dignity. Seniors in this country deserve more than broken promises. They deserve action. They deserve results. And if this proposal goes through as confirmed, it could mark a turning point, a signal that yes, Washington still remembers the people who built this country, served it, raised families in it, and continue to carry it forward. So stay tuned because we're watching this story like a hawk. As soon as new updates drop, whether it's the finalized eligibility criteria, payment timelines, or how to track your check, we'll break it all down right here. You won't have to dig through confusing government sites or sit on hold with SSA for hours. We'll do the heavy lifting so you can stay ahead of the curve. And before we wrap up this segment, if you found this video helpful, if it gave you hope or clarity, or if you just want more real updates without the fluff, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with a friend or family member who needs to hear it. Because when we're informed, we're empowered. And right now, that's the most valuable thing we can be.